Hi, this is Chris Howard, host of Plugged In with Chris Howard. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for all your sports betting action. BetOnline has more ways to stay in on the action with the latest odds, news, scores, even live in-game betting while the games are being played. With the largest selection of odds on everything from Major League Baseball, NHL, and UFC, and professional golf, BetOnline remains the number one source for all your sports wagering info. In between games, head over to the BetOnline's casino with all the top Vegas-style games, including poker and live casino. BetOnline, the game starts here.
There are some brands we openly admire for the way they transform our lives. Flashy tech, sleek gadgets, the latest apps to make us stronger, faster, more efficient. And then there are others, those quiet, unassuming brands that don't beg for attention. They just show up, do their job, and quietly disappear back into the cabinet without so much as a thank you. This brand is one of those. It's there for your leftovers, your baking, your art projects, even your camping trips. Always dependable, never asking for the spotlight. In fact, you might not realize how often you depend on it until one day you're out, and suddenly, the whole world feels a little off balance. For 75 years, it's been the hero in the kitchen, every shiny crinkle bringing both protection and a bit of glamour to tuna casseroles and a lone slice of pie. And despite its modesty, it's managed to carve out a place of true dominance, capturing more than 50% of its market. No fuss, no drama, just the quiet, unwavering power of an everyday essential. And that's why this week's On Brand is on Reynolds Wrap.
We're all jazzed up, really having a cow. We want your favorite show, and it's on right now. It's on Brand.
Welcome to On Brand with Jon and Marisa. I'm Jon.
I'm Marisa.
Okay. So we're doing the tools before Thanksgiving.
It's lightly on theme for Thanksgiving, which at the time of this record is a couple weeks away.
I have to say, I have more thoughts on Reynolds Wrap than I would think.
Me too.
Like, I love it.
Yeah.
I love that it comes in different thicknesses.
Yes.
I love it when I use it. Okay, it's like, I'm like the teenage kid with the parents. Like, at home, when I'm at someone's house taking, like, leftovers home, I use Reynolds Wrap freely, wildly. I just rip out giant sheets, wrap up my pizza and go. When I'm at home, I'm like precision patty. I'm like, I have to use the least amount to make it last as long as I can. I'm always wrong. I will never like pull it over the casserole dish. I'm like, this seems about right. And then I go over there. It's like an inch short. I'm trying to wrap 3 pieces of pizza. The points are always sticking out. I have to get more out. It is like...
That's why you're always munching on a dirty point after it's been slopping around in your bag.
I got dirty points all over the place because of this brand. Unexpected and excited.
This is exciting. And it's kind of like there's a moment when you're in like hour 3 of learning about aluminum foil where you're like, this is an interesting use of my time.
Yeah, I can't. I'm sure there is some history. It seems like it was made for what it is. It does not seem like it's something like, oh, I was making these sheets of metal and it didn't work for what I needed it for. And I happened to, one sheet fell on an old slice of pie and that pie lasted 2 extra days. And the next thing I knew, I was rich.
I love that history. And that would be a nice dramatization for the film.
Yeah.
Because this is a pretty straightforward story. But Reynolds Wrap is one of those brands that people have a very loyal following of. So it's one of the ones where it's like the name brand has to be. The generic aluminum foil doesn't even come close.
I'm literally shivering as if I just chewed aluminum foil. I would never. Like, there's nothing worse. And again, I always try to be compassionate to our listeners. If you shop at the Dollar Tree or the 99 whatever, and you buy the
foil friend or Mr. Shiny.
Even if I go to one of those stores, I'll buy Reynolds Wrap. The only difference is they give you like 1 foot of it.
And that is where they get you, because you go, oh, wow, Reynolds Wrap at Dollar Tree.
Wow, only $1.25.
$1.25, and you get in there, your points are dusty.
All points. You can wrap half a sandwich. Yeah, it doesn't give you much. Actually, it's funny that you say that because I went to Dollar Tree this week.
You did?
Why? Because I saw a TikTok that they were selling Disney socks. I was like, they sell Disney stock?
You went to Dollar Tree for Disney socks.
I did. I mean, I was like, I like fun socks. I like fun socks.
Okay.
I have bought Heinz ketchup socks that I still haven't revealed anywhere. I need to make a video for those. They must be Midwestern Dollar Trees. I think those are more packed. Ours
Those are pretty
sad
rough. They're
and
pretty rough.
I did buy some, what's that gummy brand that drives me crazy?
Haribo.
Yeah, I mean, someone suggested we do that. Just side note, their commercials alone make me never want to promote them. They have 2 commercials that they've been running for years where all the executives talk in baby voice. I freaking hate it.
I think a lot of people agree with you that that's a really troubling.
That being said, their artistry with gummies is legendary.
What do you mean artistry?
There's so many different kinds.
Oh, okay.
Like, I got a whole bag of gummy bears that are just pineapple. I was like, okay.
Now we're talking.
I'm on vacation.
This is exciting.
But I did realize, I mean, I've always known, but it seemed more obvious. The only thing different with those places is you just get less.
Yes.
The bags are smaller. They make it seem like it's like 1 Reese cup.
It's a full scam.
Yeah, but it's like in a 2 Reese cup package. But you're like, wow, I'll get them here. You get home, there's a cup.
Are Reese's cups always the size of a dime?
Yeah. So it is a scam. But
It's a scam.
I do go.
Yeah. They get you. They get you once in a while. So, John, last time I saw you a couple days ago.
Yeah.
You mentioned that a few shopping trips. Whenever I ask you what you do out and about in the town, we start to talk, and then Alistair goes, wait, save it for the pod, meaning our conversations are very short these days.
They're very short. And no one can see me right now, but I wish this was a visual medium, because if this was a cartoon, I'm blinking a lot, and I wanted to add the sound effect of like, bling, 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 bling.
Because you're busted?
Because I'm busted.
Okay, so tell me, what'd you do?
Okay. It always comes back to TikTok, though I've seen this for years, but I've never participated. But I have a new favorite thing.
What?
Cost Plus World Market. I don't know if they still use the Cost Plus. I think everywhere it's now just World Market. It used to be Cost Plus World Market. That's beside the point. Every November, they have a scavenger hunt twice a day. Have you seen this?
No, but a few years ago at Christmas, you and I went to Cost Plus World Market to get our free ornament.
Yes.
And it's coming up on that time.
They give coupons on Black Friday to get a free ornament if you're a member, whatever. So every November, they do the scavenger hunt twice a day when the store opens and then at 3 o'clock. And the scavenger hunt is they hide 4 elves, like on a card. It's like a gift card throughout the store. And there'll be a clue when you walk in. It's like a little poem that tells you, when I went, this was the first time I did it on Friday. I forget what the poem was, but it was basically just telling you that it's by something red.
Okay.
And then like you walk in the store and you look around, it's Christmas, everything is red. And I thought it was going to be packed, because I've seen videos where they're like, there's like 40 people here ready to go in. There was like 8 of us. There was like 2 moms with little like kids and like, but I was like, I had errands to do in Burbank.
You're one lone gay.
Yeah, one lone gay wearing a Cure shirt. I had a shadowy eye. But it's kind of fun. You just like rummage through the store looking for these things. They went quick. They went in like 10 minutes. I did not find one.
So they're gift cards?
Yeah, and you get it, and then you take it to the register, and it'll either be a $20, $50, or $100 gift card.
Oh, my God.
And you have to use it that day.
Well, that is extremely generous. I was thinking like $5.
No, up to $100. And then I was talking to, because I'm a jabberbox, I was talking to someone that worked at World Market, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so fun. This is my first time. Everything's red. That was my joke with everybody.
Yeah.
Everything's red, right, guys? No one cared. Everyone's just like, gotta find it. But he was like, yeah, he's like, you're lucky this is your first time. In the morning, it's pretty slow. He's like, the afternoons are like Hunger Games.
Oh my God.
Like at 3 o'clock on the dot, like everyone's like in it to win it. He's like, they go in like 2 minutes.
Do they like close the doors while they place them?
I don't understand how they do the afternoon ones, unless there's just like someone in like plain clothes. Like I would love to think that every November they hire a plain clothes.
Yeah, who's
elf
that
hider.
mustachioed man in a trench coat?
Yeah.
With a pocket full of cards.
They get a plain clothes person and make them dress very eclectically, like Mr. Peanut or the Monopoly guy. And they just hide them. And I don't know how deep they go. Someone said they are getting harder, like they may be in a canister now, where before they would just be like...
You're just tearing open a Papusan chair.
Right. I was very gentle with everything. Like, I didn't want to be like... I was like, I can't imagine they want us to mess this store up. Like, people are just like chaotically throwing everything around.
Such a strange marketing idea.
But it's super fun. And
that's good, to get people through the doors. Cost Plus World Market is one of those places you don't know what you need until you get in there and you're like, wow, I need a lot. I need an exotic Swedish candy. I need a throw pillow. I need a little reindeer statuette.
I gotta say, I have always liked, but I was like doing this on Friday and I was like, I love World Market.
I love World Market.
I love the food section. There's food from every part of the world. Sure, it's a little pricey, but they usually have some sort of like coupon or something in your rewards app that you can use. They have so many fun candies, especially at Christmas. There's I truly do love that store. We'll do that. I'll put that on my list. Marissa can't do it. I will do World Market at some point.
I mean, I could spend all day in there. It is so fun.
I have. If you remember, I often go to the Burbank one and just sit on the couch and take care of my social media.
That's true. You do use that as an office.
Which I did this Friday after all the elves were found. I was like, all right, that's fine. I'll sit here for a few minutes and catch up on my socials. So that was what I did Friday. It was a lot of fun. I hope to do it at least. But it's like you also wake up and you're like,
what time is it at?
It starts at 10 whenever the store opens.
Yeah.
So it's like, do I want to run over there and like not win? But
well, you don't want to be in the afternoon with the big crowd.
I got to say, there was a young woman there with her mom, and she just had it. Like, she came after me, but you could see it. This is not her first time. She got the first one. I was like, I don't know what her secret is. I don't know how she knows. Because seriously, everything's red. I want to go on a day when they're like, it's by something teal or something a lot less of.
Oh, man. That sounds really exciting. Well, if anybody has participated in that, please let us know if you've ever done the scavenger hunt or gotten a gift card. That's really fun. We also have some other breaking news. John, people are asking every day. We get hundreds and hundreds of messages, maybe like 3, asking if you've had a chicken Big Mac yet.
Okay, so big news. I'm going to announce it here today. This is what do they call it?
Pull over. People are careening into traffic. Lives are being lost. Pull
double
over.
fisting a chicken Big Mac right now.
Yes.
So this is very late. I think the Chicky Big Mac, that's what I've been calling it. The Chicky Biggie came out.
Chicky BM.
No, I don't love that.
Chicky BM.
I don't love that. But I am going to start trying to do more video reviews of stuff like that. Let's be even more like Doughboys if we can.
Look out, Weiger. John's coming for you.
People want my voice on my opinion on these things, so let's give them what they want.
Give them what they want.
I did finally have the Chicky Big Mac.
Chicky BM.
And I gotta say...
Yes?
I loved it.
Oh, wow.
I loved it. Okay, we just said this about the dollar stores. It goes with McDonald's and almost every fast food place in Southern California. Ours are gross. You go to the Midwest, McDonald's is lovely. It's
pristine.
clean.
You could have a baby shower there.
You don't need to like type in a 14-digit code on a dirty pad to go to the bathroom. The soda fountain machine doesn't have tape across it that's like see counter for drinks.
Well, do you know why?
Okay, we'll get to the ice capades. I've decided I am fully embracing ice capades. I have kept a running list of all my ice adventures of the week.
Fantastic.
But Chicky Biggie, I went to McDonald's and I was going to get it to go. And then I was like, you know what? This is something I have to enjoy in the moment. So I sat in the dirty McDonald's on Sunset by the Sunset. I know.
It sounds like a rough one.
I know.
Anybody planning on coming to Hollywood for a family vacation?
It's like,
new plan.
Should I sit at the bar stool or over by the chalk outline of the person? I don't know what's cleaner. But I gotta say, I took videos of it. I'm not gonna eat it on my video review, but I videoed it. It looked gorgeous. I opened the box. It
looked gorgeous?
It looked like they made this one for the advertisement. Wow. I got it as chef intended. I didn't make any alterations to it. But the reason I decided to eat it there was because I was like, this thing's not gonna last 10 minutes. Like, you gotta eat it now.
Eat in your car.
Oh, God.
Park and eat in your car.
I think that's what Weiger does.
Yeah,
I've seen him do that.
Yeah.
My car, I'm a hoarder. My car's so full of stuff. It would just be so depressing. No, I ate it there. And it was good. It was hot. It was fresh. Here's the rub. Here's the only thing with it is they use a different chicken. It's not the chicken that they use
What do you mean?
Like, they have chicken sandwiches. They have like the McChicken. It's not that chicken. They've taken what seems like the chicken nugget and made that larger. So it's like that crispy. I mean, we love chicken nuggets.
Yeah.
The thing about chicken nuggets is we've seen the documentary on how they make them with the pink paste.
The sludge.
So I was eating, I was like, man, this is a lot of pink paste. But it's good. So I had that running through my head the whole time. But I loved it.
But didn't you say watching that McDonald's documentary, like
Super Size Me made me hungry for McDonald's. Like, from opening credits, I was like, man, I can't wait till this is over. I'm going to go get a Biggie Miggy.
So the pink paste has never been a problem in John's heart.
I don't like to see the pink paste. It's really repulsive when you're like, they're going to form. I mean, the fact that Chicken McNuggets come in 4 shapes.
Yeah,
like
it's like
you're
boot,
getting the
bell.
boot. We all want the boots. I wish I could just be like, can I have all boots?
Oops, all boots. They should do that.
$1 upcharge for all boots. But yeah, it was hot. It was juicy. It tasted like a more fulfilling Big Mac, because Big Mac hamburgers have gotten so thin and almost nothing. I loved it. Thumbs up.
I'm really proud of you. You waited like a month to get this. I hope it stays on the menu permanently, and that the people, that their voices matter, and McDonald's takes this to heart.
I'll tag them in our video. I have not listened to the Cure album. We have several people wanting my opinion on the Cure album.
So insane.
I have so much to catch up on. I talk about these things on the pod and then don't do anything.
Well,
with
because
them.
you wait until like, what was the song, the music that you had to wait until you were like staring at bioluminescence in the ocean to like
Fiona Apple.
Yes.
Fiona Apple. I waited till the perfect moment, which ended up being on the beach with bioluminescence.
Okay.
I don't know what that Cure moment will be, but it'll happen.
The new NBA and MLB season is in full swing, and BetOnline has you covered with the best odds and biggest promotions and live in-game betting on all your favorite teams. Head to BetOnline today to stay updated on all the action. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Are you looking for a new job or want a career change? Look no further than Monster.com. Need a little help standing out? Our expert resume writing services will make sure you shine. Want to brush up on your interview skills? Engage with our AI interview prep tool. Want some advice on negotiating your new salary? Visit our salary tools and extensive library of career advice articles, and you'll have all the tips and tricks you'll need to succeed. Visit Monster.com today and take the first step towards your career. Monster.com. Find your right job fit.
Can we talk about foil?
God. Yes, let's talk about foil.
Okay, so there's a long history of preserving food by wrapping it. As you can imagine, ancient societies, they're using leaves or animal skins for preservation. Meanwhile, the emergence of tin as a valuable resource dates back to 3500 BC in Turkey. So tin was then combined with copper to make, do you know what it makes? Tin and copper?
Aluminum.
Bronze.
Oh.
Bronze.
All bronze is tin and what?
Bronze is tin and copper, and it is stronger than copper. So then bronze started being used to make weapons and tools, and it marked the beginning of the Bronze Age.
See, no, I feel like if this was my episode, you'd be like, oh, so the tin the bronze, and like you'd do this whole like...
that's so reductive. I'm an artist.
I can't do it like you do, so I just think it and then explain it.
So didn't say that the tin the copper.
You said the guy that created Skyline Chili the chili.
Sometimes it comes up organically. I'm an artist. I'm a poet.
Okay.
I'm a storyteller.
All right. So the tin the copper. Now we got bronze.
The Bronze Age marked the first time that humans started to work with metal. Up until that point, all the weapons, everything that was made out of stone. Stone Age.
Okay. We're going through all the ages. Do you think like an Olympic winner, bronze winner right now is listening to this and like, what?
Tin?
My medal is tin? Ugh.
And then like an ancient Olympian, if you lost, you got a stone medal.
Oh. Maybe.
So they made a lot of technological advances during the Bronze Age because now they could make things out of bronze, which was very strong, easier to work with than stone. Some advances including writing and the wheel. Heard of it?
This is when the wheel came out during the Bronze Age?
The wheel came out during the Bronze Age, and this was from 3300. I remember absolutely nothing about history. I don't know. I can't even point to Ohio on a map. So for me, this might be like something everybody knows. Oh, of course, the Bronze Age. That's where the wheel came out.
Hold on one second. Hey, Siri, when did the wheel come out?
Come out.
They both are dated to c. 3200 to 3000 BC.
That's what you said, 3200?
3300 was the beginning of the Bronze Age.
Okay, well, checks out.
It checks out. So this was a big time, a lot of big advances. Then the process of hammering tin into thin sheets began in the 1700s.
Okay, we've jumped a little
bit, but you can fill in the gaps.
Those 400 years.
Let's just say there's a lot of history podcasts if you're just chomping at the bit for more Bronze Age information.
How did it help writing? Because of like the printing press? No.
Sure, and like a metal pen.
That's when metal plumes came out.
Do you know how long this episode would be if I spent even another second on the Bronze Age?
I know exactly how long. I would have done it.
Let's just say Bronze Age is lucky it even made it in the show.
Fair
I just
enough.
found it interesting.
Fair enough.
Then the process of hammering tin into thin sheets began in the late 1700s. Tin foil, which was thin sheets of tin, was used for many things, including food preservation. So it's already kind of starting to be used for food preservation. Scientific experiments, so its reflective properties were used in science innovation and early photography. Insulation, dentistry, tinfoil fillings, and phonographic cylinders. So the first audio recordings were on Thomas Edison's phonographic cylinders, and they were made of tinfoil. So I cannot even imagine. Thomas Edison lived in a world with no recorded sound.
No Spotify. No cassette tapes.
No podcasts.
Poor Tom.
Can you imagine? Poor Tom, indeed.
Poor Tom. There's your podcast. Poor Tom. All the things that Thomas Edison didn't experience.
I mean, thank God for him. In 1877, he invents a machine called the tinfoil phonograph, which is currently in this. His original machine is currently in the Smithsonian. And he took it on the road for all these demonstrations. The following year, audiences were, of course, going crazy. So it was called the tinfoil phonograph because the medium of recording the audio is on tinfoil. The tinfoil is wrapped around a brass drum, and an operator shouts into a mouthpiece, and then a little part vibrates, which is attached to a needle, and then the sound waves from the shouting make little indentations in the foil as the operator is turning the wheel. And there were some instances of recorded sound prior to Thomas Edison doing this, but with his phonograph, he could play the sound back, much to audiences' shock and amazement.
I have goosebumps because I have done all of that.
Wow.
At the Ford Museum, which I'm always singing its praises. If you're anywhere near Detroit, spend 2 days at the Ford Museum.
I popped in for 5 minutes and got you a pressed penny.
So they have this setup there. And you go into, I don't know if they have... The place is divided into two things. There's a big indoor thing where they've got like the bus Rosa Parks was in and the car that Kennedy was shot in. And then they have a whole other thing that's all outside. Back before every state had like preserved like historic landmarks, they would buy buildings. So they bought like the Wright Brothers workshop and
Crazy.
like they would buy all these historic buildings and bring them to this place. So all these amazing, so they have something with Thomas Edison. And I went in there and it's this whole setup. They're like,
Wow.
you can record on tinfoil. Do we have any volunteers? Of course, I raised my hand up. They wrapped the tinfoil around the thing. I had to shout, Mary had a little lamb. I had to say, why am I saying that so many times? I'm having a stroke. I'm too excited. I had to recite the Mary Had a Little Lamb poem in this thing, shout it really loud, and then they played it back.
Wow.
And it was very cool. And then it went off on this whole topic, like, what if everything could collect all the sounds that have ever happened? Like, is there a way to tap into, like, trees to, like, listen to, like, a war? I don't remember where that went. I'm assuming we can't do that, but...
Did you get to keep the foil?
No, I don't. No, I did not. I'm sure I would have if it was something worth keeping. It would be in
I know you would have.
Cabinet of Curiosities. Shoot, I should have asked them.
Used it to wrap up some Zingerman.
Definitely.
Half of a Zingerman's Reuben. So that's cool.
Incredible.
I've lived this, and thank you for not saying, oh, you're that old. No, I'm not. I did this like in 2015.
I mean, it is just a true marvel of innovation. And it's just one of those reminders of thank God you and I are not the smartest people because
Oh my
let's just
God.
say there would be no tinfoil. There certainly would be no recorded sound.
No, there would be nothing.
So back to tinfoil. So people are liking tinfoil, okay. It's good for preserving food. It's lightweight. It's recyclable, but it wasn't without its drawbacks. So number one, it made food taste like tin.
Well, I was going to ask, you say that it was like, how many people were using it to preserve food at this time? Because there's no refrigeration at this time. So
You wrap up a sandwich.
you just they were wrapping up a sandwich and putting on like a block of ice, probably?
Well, you have like, you're packing a lunch.
They're packing lunches? Okay.
People pack lunches.
I don't know.
You take a bite out of an apple. Maybe you want to finish it later.
Wrap it up in
Wrap it
a
up
sheet
in
of
foil.
tin. Got it.
You have a leftover piece of pumpkin pie from Costco you're taking from your friend's house.
I have half of that left.
You better eat it.
I chomped on some today. So everything's tasting a little tinny.
Things are tasting a little tinny. But at that time, people are just lucky to have anything. So, no one's complaining too much. Here comes a Swiss man. We're in Switzerland. We're leaving America, the mainland. We're going to Switzerland.
We love Switzerland. They invented the swatch.
Get a load of this. A man named Robert Victor Neher, spelled exactly the same as my married last name, Neher.
You're the Reynolds heir?
This is interesting. We pronounce my last name Neer. It turns out, based on my 15 minutes of research, my last name is actually pronounced Nair.
Wow.
I'm learning things too about my own life.
That's interesting.
Yeah, we've been saying it wrong. All these Oklahoma hillbillies didn't know how to say their own damn name.
My friend, can I just interject? Scott Recchia.
Yeah.
He has told me our entire friendship that he is related to every Recchia. And I want to know, that's what I do. I laugh. I'm
I
like,
think so.
How do you know that? He's like, it's true. He's so adamant about it.
Okay.
How can you know that you're related to every Recchia?
Am I related to this Swiss man?
Let's hope.
Okay. Ancestry.com. See
Oh my
you there.
God. I would love it if we could go on one of those shows.
That would be fun.
Okay.
Maybe in like a year. So this man, Robert Victor Nair, my new last name, he wanted an alternative to tin foil. So tin, it not only doesn't make food taste like tin, but it's also kind of rare and kind of expensive. And there's a cheaper metal on the scene called aluminum. It also happens to be easier to source. Aluminum is the third most abundant element found on Earth's surface.
Wow. I know now that you're talking about all this stuff, I really know nothing about mining or metals or elements or anything.
Can you imagine just like you with a little pick, like at the side of a mountain looking for aluminum? Like
I find a chunk and I'm like, finally, I have something to put Diet Coke in.
So in addition to being very abundant, it also doesn't alter the taste of food. But you can't just stick a honk of aluminum in a tin rolling machine, you fool. It wouldn't work. They're very different. They have different properties. So Nair's sons, they tinker around. They invent an endless rolling machine that makes aluminum foil. They're the first people to figure this out.
What year are we?
1910.
Okay.
So in 1910, the Nair family opens an aluminum foil rolling factory in Switzerland at the foot of the Rhine Falls. Like you're over the Rhine?
Over the Rhine.
The Rhine Falls in Switzerland. I can't even overstate the stunning beauty that is Switzerland. I need to go.
Yeah, I have friends that went recently and I saw pictures. It's incredible.
I'm going to show you a picture of the Rhine Falls in Switzerland, which is the location of a foil rolling factory.
Still? Wow.
Unbelievable.
That looks like AI.
So the factory is powered by the falls. It's not currently still a foil rolling factory, but this is exactly what it looked like. It's like, I mean, any picture you look of Switzerland, it's like the most gorgeous thing you've ever seen. I have to go.
Talk about, thank God people don't have our brains. Can you imagine us ever looking at a waterfall and being like, I'm going to source that energy, make aluminum foil, and change the face of this planet?
We would sooner be going over in a barrel than harnessing the power of the falls.
Squat down by the falls, fall in it, and plunge to my death.
We're not harnessing the power of anything, honey.
No.
So now he's got a factory. It's powered by the waterfall. He's got a patent on his machine. Meanwhile, in 1911, 1 year later, Theodore Tobler, I chills, began wrapping its chocolate bars in the Nair aluminum foil, including the unique triangular chocolate bar, Toblerone.
Fun fact about Toblerone.
What?
If I'm remembering this correctly, sometime relatively recently, they've had to take the Swiss mountains off of their branding and packaging.
Why?
Because they now produce it elsewhere or
my
more
God.
places. I could be wrong, but I am 95% sure that
I
is
mean, we'll
accurate.
have to do a full hour on Toblerone.
This is the kind of stuff that will move over into the Patreon.
Sure.
Further discussion.
I'm just like grinning ear to ear just thinking about Toblerones.
I love a Toblerone, especially like a white chocolate. I feel like they have a white one with like honey nougat things.
Yeah, the nougat little bits inside are just so fantastically chewy, and it's milk chocolate so creamy, just cracking off one of those little triangles.
I love the triangles are fun. Just rubbing your tongue.
Rubbing your tongue. If you and me could be eating Toblerones in Switzerland, we could die happy.
Yeah.
And we might. So the now aluminum foil in 1912 is being used by Maggi, which is now a Nestle brand. They're packing soup and stock cubes. So aluminum foil is kind of starting to get a little buzz in Switzerland.
And just as I always like to throw in, 1912 is the year the Titanic sank.
Exactly. So the world is still on tilt.
We're on tilt.
It's the one silver lining.
The ship may be sinking, but the foil is rising.
Exactly. So companies that bought his foil, they wanted to have packaging with their logos. So he constructed machines that made it easier to like dye and emboss and print on foil packaging. He's having a lot of fun with it. Unfortunately, he dies of the Spanish flu in 1918.
Good Lord.
So he never got to see what became of his, and he never got to see the movie Titanic.
And this is one of those things where I would say, man, I wish that he could see what happened with the aluminum foil now, and you would laugh at me. But this is what I mean.
Yeah, you famously, when you're at Disneyland, you say, I wish Walt was here to see this.
I wish if Walt could ride the ride of resistance, he would die.
Yeah. I wish Walt was here to see this. And I wish Nair was here to see what's become of foil.
Yeah.
The firm he founded continued to develop additional products, mainly laminating aluminum to cardboard, paper, fabric. We can get pretty boring in the weeds about like foil that now is like glued to wax paper. You know, I'm sure there's a podcast for that. We're going to keep it pretty on message just with foil.
Okay.
So in America, the first use of aluminum was for leg bands for racing pigeons.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Is what? Carrier pigeons?
The first use of aluminum, like aluminum strips, like flattened aluminum, was little leg bands for little racing pigeons.
Now that's something we would invent.
Like, you know what? That pigeon could use an accessory.
A little bling.
A little bling string.
Oh my gosh, that's
It's
hilarious.
basically a bling string for a pigeon.
What we used to do with pigeons. How did pigeons fall from grace? Now it's
I
like you
know.
look at a pigeon, you want to spit on it.
They were elevated to the status of gods, and now they're garbage in the sky.
Half of them are extinct. We had carrier pigeons, sending notes by pigeon. Those are all dead. Apparently we had racing pigeons. I'm assuming those are dead too because I've never heard of them.
I don't know where they're going.
Now we just have city pigeons hobbling around. Half of them are missing a leg. Have you ever seen that?
A missing leg pigeon?
Yeah.
Daily.
You have?
This is LA, baby.
I feel like I think you're joking, but they're out there.
They are definitely out there. The pigeons out here. Again, if you're considering a family trip to Hollywood, please, new plan. Go to Switzerland.
Oh my God, I know I keep going off topic, and I don't think I've told this story before, but I used to work at the House of Blues building. I don't think it's called that anymore. It's on Sunset Boulevard. It was very tall. And this was back when I was a smoker, and I used to go to the roof and smoke. And one day I was like, this is before I was scared of heights. I was like leaning on the side, looking over the city, smoking. I like threw my cigarette down and put it out with my shoe, looked down, 3 pigeon heads.
Oh my God.
3 pigeon heads on the ground by my foot.
God.
I goosebumps for the second time in this episode. I'm like, oh my God, I'm found like the base camp of a witch's coven or something. I ran downstairs and I was like, you guys, there's pigeon heads upstairs. And apparently hawks will catch pigeons and clip off their heads to kill them and drop the head.
This is my LA.
And this is my LA. You literally could see the Hollywood sign from up there too. So it's Hollywood sign.
You were
all
having your
Hollywood.
little Marilyn Monroe moment on the balcony looking out at Hollywood. And then, of course,
skirt blows up. I giggle to myself.
I mean, 3 pigeon heads. That should be on the LA flag.
Oh, God. Awful, awful moment.
So now in 1913, I know I skipped ahead to say they died, but we're still in 1913. In the United States, now aluminum foil is being used for wrapping lifesavers,
Okay.
candy bars, and gum.
How much do you miss a
Foil-wrapped Hershey bar. Yes, daily,
It is
all the time, yes.
God, I miss it so much. And now it's like the illusion of foil.
I know.
Slipping that, oh my gosh.
Unwrapping, it was like unclipping a brassiere of a lover.
It was like an adolescent's first taste of undressing something.
Yes, absolutely.
Like sliding it
So
out, it's
erotic.
all naughty. You're seeing just all this silver.
Uh-huh.
You open that up and you get that first whiff. And I know half of the people are going to be like, Hershey and chocolate scraps. Well, if you grow up with it, it's delicious.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it was the best.
It's so good. Unreal. Everything good is gone.
Everything good is dead, like those pigeon heads. We live in a pigeon head society.
Okay, so now despite the introduction of aluminum foil for these few niche things like candy and pigeon anklets, tin foil is still being manufactured and used, and it is still the primary way that people are wrapping food despite the tin flavor. And then now let's get a man named Richard S. Reynolds Sr. So Reynolds' ventures in business began when he left law school at the request of his uncle R.J. Reynolds, which you might not know him, but you definitely know his work, of R.J. Reynolds Tobacco. R.J. Reynolds was the tobacco king, and his nephew was Richard S. Reynolds Sr. R.J. Reynolds' brands include Newport, Camel, Eclipse, Kent, Pall Mall.
Yeah.
Heard of them?
Very familiar with them.
What was your cigarette brand that you smoked?
It changed throughout the years. I was a Newport non-menthol for a while, but
Oh, wow.
Camel Light's I think most of my life, except for the Marlboro period where I used Marlboro miles and Camel Cash. That's how I got my mountain bike
You want a mountain
with
bike?
cigarettes.
Why did you buy a mountain bike?
I was
Your
younger,
Camel? Did
and-
you ever ride it?
It's in the storage unit. I refuse to get rid of it. It was the coolest mountain bike. It folded in half, so I could just toss it in my car and
Did
go
you
to
once?
the beach.
Did you once?
I did once, like 15 years ago. I'd already had it forever. I took it to like a bike shop, had them like...
I guarantee it was longer than 15 years ago.
No, I got it like probably 30 years ago. I got it so long ago, but I had it forever and it had just been sitting there collecting dust. 15 years ago, I took it to a bike place and had them clean it up and like fill up the tires, get new inner tubes and all that. Rode it, I think, once. Bought a helmet. Rode it around Los Feliz a time. And then was like, going into storage.
Was it like emblazoned with like cigarette iconography?
Luckily, it did not have Joe Camel on the front. And like when you pedal, like smoke didn't come out of the back.
That would have been really cute.
But it was always very fun and everybody. You got a mountain bike from smoking? Yes, I did.
You know what? Maybe we could do it as a giveaway for the fans.
What? I'll show it. Everyone's so freaking obsessed with that storage unit.
I mean, this is a really good example of what gets people so excited. So Richard S. Reynolds, this is a little aside about him, the Reynolds Wrap King. He learned his first business lesson at the age of 12, where he was named the Marble King after winning all the marbles in his hometown of Bristol, Tennessee. So this is from like the company website where they're kind of like building up the founder.
I gotta say, I take timelines from company websites with a grain of salt.
Sure. Well, how about this? Rather than keeping the stash of marbles so no one else could play, RS returned his winnings. Reviving the town game helped him realize that a monopoly didn't benefit anyone. This insight proved useful later during his career.
Lies. Just like George Washington never told a lie and had wooden teeth. They were made out of whale bones.
Yeah.
Lies. Everyone lies. We polish it up. I don't even always bring it up in my own research. And Rubik's Cube, all the early articles I found from like the newspaper.com were like, in its first year, it sold 10,000 or something. But all the lore now says it was like 100,000. I'm like, someone changed it at some point, and now that's just become the new truth.
I wonder what they'll say about us when we're long gone. I hope they're favorable.
Please be kind.
So when RS worked for his uncle's company, the cigarette company, he helped advance the company by moving it from chewing tobacco to smoking tobacco and formulating a milder tobacco blend that became Camel cigarette. So he invented the Camel cigarette. His invention of an all-metal moisture-preserving container called the Prince Albert tin was a technological breakthrough for the tobacco industry and the first in his long line of innovation in metal.
Oh my gosh. I don't know that like inventing a cigarette is what I would want as my claim to fame.
It's really funny because it's like we all know that cigarettes are bad, but in like the glossy company website lore, it's like we still have to like say like he invented a milder cigarette, which was very appreciated at the time.
9 out of 10 doctors died, but approved it. I know I keep going off on tangents. Did you know anyone that dipped?
I've seen dip, yeah.
So growing up in Ohio, and I'm calling Lakota out for this, Hopewell and Lakota schools, you would get your textbook at the beginning of the year. They just pass it out. You get a book. You get an old one. And one of my favorite things, if someone did the like turn to page 12 and you go to 12 and like you do that for like 40 pages and then it's like a drawing of a dick or boobs or something. It's like, haha. But sometimes you'd be flipping through your book and you'd see a little brown dot and you're like, And then you flip a few more pages and that brown dot gets bigger and bigger and bigger until you find a big wad of dip that someone spat in that book. Alistair's shaking his head. I think this happened in Oklahoma too. It was so disgusting.
That is insane. I mean, teenagers in general, repulsive. But this crosses the line.
Crosses the line.
Crosses the line.
Flip through the books before you pass them out.
Oh, my goodness. So in 1912, RS leaves the tobacco company to start the Reynolds Corporation with his two brothers, and they started making household cleaners until the start of World War I, when soap was deemed unessential. What a time. Gosh. And then as World War I came to a close, they sold that company, and he decided to kind of turn his entrepreneurial talents to new foil packaging. So now he's kind of very passionate about foil and metals. He always liked metals. He had success with them with the cigarettes. He wants to give it a shot. So they create the U.S. Foil Company in 1919. And initially, the new company, they supplied lead and tin foil wrappers. So still, aluminum is not even on the scene yet, really, mainstream, to cigarette and candy companies. So he already has an in with the cigarette companies, little foil wrapper, the cigarette packages, they start making that. In 1924, U.S. Foil purchases the manufacture of Eskimo pies, which are wrapped in foil. So it's kind of, now this foil is kind of taking on maybe, what can it be? We know what it is. It's tin, it's lead, which doesn't seem great for food packaging. What's the next phase? In the 1920s, the price of aluminum drops, and Reynolds is curious about making the switch after learning about all of its benefits. By 1926, the company began using aluminum foil as a packaging material for the first time. By 1930, Reynolds sales had reached nearly 13 million, and their company name becomes Reynolds Metals.
Okay.
So now metal's flying off the shelves. They're printing on foil. They're embossing it. They're making aluminum bottle labels, heat seal foil bags, foil building insulation. In 1938, the company's offices were moved to Richmond, Virginia. And this is interesting. The executive office that they moved to in Richmond, Virginia, uses over 1 million pounds of aluminum in the exterior cladding, the vial cabinets. They even made the carpet and the draperies out of aluminum foil thread.
That doesn't seem luxurious, like shag carpeting. It's just like, ow, ow, ow. Like they definitely, no one's walking barefoot through that office.
It does seem like a Project Runway challenge. It's like get a dress out of foil.
Unconventional materials
For
challenge.
sure, yeah.
Okay, you can do this entire office for free if you use our product.
It does feel a little cheap.
The walls are so thin, you can just like push through them because they're aluminum foil. I love it.
People are smashing from the third floor to the basement.
I thought you were going to say when they moved to Richmond, Virginia, something very interesting happened. Cancer rates for residents in that city went skyrocketing.
It does feel unnatural to be around that much foil.
Yeah, I feel like it's like little foil dust is coming out of all those big smokestacks.
Yeah. Reynolds could see in the late 1930s that it was possible that the United States would enter World War II, and he suspected that the United States had underestimated the need for aluminum for military equipment. So he called FDR and he testified to the fact before the U.S. Senate committee investigating the defense production effort to start another factory for the production of aluminum to aid in the war effort. And so he got the government to help subsidize to pay for another factory to produce aluminum. And he got a loan from the government. And by the time the Second World War had begun, Reynolds Metals had become the second producer of basic aluminum in the United States that was instrumental to the production of aircraft and other military supplies. So this little foil for a racing pigeon's foot is now essential to World War II.
Yeah, I was going to say, of all the brands that we've talked about, I mean, we always, for brands that are that old, there's always some sort of effect from World War II, and it's usually having to cut back or reimagine what they are. If any company we've talked about was in a better position for it than this, I can't remember one.
They even used foil strips dropping from bombers to confuse radar tracking systems.
That's awesome. Just shiny strips. I love that.
Yeah, they would just dump these little shiny strips out of planes, and then it would be like, we're surrounded. Wait a minute, who's that? And then, they get taken down.
I love that. I genuinely love that. I think that's so cool. And then realize it's confetti. And I would be out in the warfield with a Ziploc bag, collecting it all. Not scrambling my vision.
And that's where Adele got her inspiration. She read this fun fact. And during World War II, Americans had to collect aluminum through scrap drives to support the war efforts, which is so funny because it feels like we're just in an era of such crazy waste where you just throw things away with reckless abandon. People were collecting their gum wrappers and cigarette packages, aluminum from wherever they could find it. In many towns, the collected foil balls could be exchanged for free entry to a movie theater.
That's fun.
Isn't that cute? So if you find enough foil, make a little ball, you can get into the movie, see a flick for free.
Yeah, I know we talk about it a lot with these brands, but I don't think a lot of us, we weren't alive, the impact of what it was to really not be able to use certain items and scrap and save other items. It was, obviously just a very different time.
It seems like a unifying time if everybody's out there, picking up little bits of aluminum foil together.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll get to know your neighbor.
Yeah. And now we're just I recycle, and then you watch a thing the recycling, they just throw it in the ocean. It doesn't actually go anywhere. It's all bullshit.
Exactly. Everything's worse. Everything's bad now.
Everything's dead.
So now it's 1947. The war is over. Reynolds has these very productive aluminum factories, and they now know the strength, the flexibility of aluminum. Reynolds gets the idea, an idea that changes American kitchens forever with the introduction of Reynolds Wrap.
Love it.
And it's not long before Reynolds Wrap is a staple in the 1950s household, as we can imagine the 1950s. Busy homemakers, TV dinners, making cleanup a breeze.
Convenience, convenience, convenience.
Absolutely. So TV dinners were, of course, wrapped in aluminum foil. Tin foil is officially out. Aluminum foil is here to stay. Even a lot of people still colloquially will refer to all aluminum foil as tin foil, though it stopped being produced in the 1950s. It's in, as I said, TV dinners, Jiffy Pop popcorn, and Reynolds Wrap is producing cookbooks to further educate Americans on how aluminum foil can fit into their busy lifestyle.
Of course they were. Every brand back then made a book on how to use all the hundreds and hundreds of ways you can use their product.
So Reynolds marketed aluminum foil as gift wrap.
I do like it. I do love an unconventional gift wrap. I usually will use a paper bag or a Trader Joe's bag. But yeah, I'm on board with that. That feels so 50s.
It does.
60s.
Yeah. I mean, because it would be like so shiny and marvelous. It almost would look like a spaceship.
Yeah.
They made aluminum yarn for Vogue dress patterns.
Okay.
And even extended their advertising strategy to include wrapping their office headquarters in aluminum. So they got aluminum coming out of their ears. They're just looking for ways to use it.
Yeah.
Reynolds is continuing to grow. They're opening mining operations both in the U.S. and around the world. Reynolds now announced that he will be turning over the leadership of the company to his 4 sons, but he remained actively involved until his death in 1955. End of an era.
And he was buried, rolled up in Reynolds Wrap.
He looks like a breakfast burrito.
A Chipotle burrito. Goodbye, Papa.
Goodbye, Papa, indeed. Reynolds Metals developed several aluminum vehicles over the years, including a Corvette prototype, an aluminum bus, a submarine called the Illuminaut.
None of those should have humans inside of them.
The Corvette prototype was made from Reynolds metal aluminum. It was 38.9% lighter than the steel version. I mean, also, it has to be a death trap, right? I mean,
Yeah.
we've all stepped on a can.
Yeah, you barely tap a tree and you're dead.
Absolutely.
I feel like a submarine would crush very quickly.
Yeah, but they're having fun. They're having fun. The Illuminaut, that's fun. As we go into the holiday season, I'll mention that one of the most innovative uses of aluminum foil came in the 1960s, and this was the aluminum Christmas tree debut.
It always comes back to TikTok. The last couple years, there's a couple old queens on TikTok who have one of those vintage aluminum trees that I don't even think you can buy anymore because I think the one they have might be radioactive or there's something weird about it. But it's so beautiful. It's silver. And then they completely decorate it only with shiny ornaments, like
those
vintage shiny ornaments. It is the most beautiful tree. I'm so obsessed with having this at some point in my life.
Yeah, you can get them. I looked it up. There's new versions of aluminum trees, but I think that you're talking about the vintage ones, the vintage 60s ones. You can find them on eBay and probably, at like a thrift store.
Yeah.
But they are really special
They're
looking.
so pretty.
Yeah, you could cover it in those shiny metal ornaments
bright,
and lights.
Yeah.
That sounds really fun. I think that's your new Christmas project.
Yeah.
In the 1960s, also, more women are entering the workforce, and Reynolds Wrap is a hero for the modern woman. Their products are perfectly equipped to make family dinners easier. They introduced oven bags, wax paper, baking cups, and more. So they were perfectly positioned to kind of help support this transition into you're a woman who's doing it all. You're working as a secretary, and then you're coming back home and you're making a cake with the Betty Crocker mix and pouring it into a little muffin cup instead of having to spend hours washing dishes with cleanup.
Fun fact, I made my first box cake this week.
Oh, for who?
Myself.
What kind?
Chocolate.
You just made yourself a whole chocolate cake?
Well, usually when I want cake, I'll go to Vons and buy a slice, and it's like $4 or $5.
Yeah.
Well, everyone's got their Thanksgiving sales going on. I bought a box cake mix and the thing of frosting for like $3.
Did you buy just one? How many boxes did you get?
2.
How many cans of frosting?
3.
I know exactly what questions to ask. And this is just because so many other people, if you told that to, they would let it go. You say, oh, I bought a box of cake mix. But then you said on sale. And that was when I knew you did not see a sale on cake mix and frosting and only buy one. And that is why we are friends.
Well, it is. And what goes through my head is I'm buying this and I'm like, I'm never going to make this. I am so impressed with myself for making one that night. And it's good. I mean, it's fine. I mean, and people are probably like, didn't you guys do a cake challenge? We did. I think you made those cakes or David did. But it's really light. It doesn't have any density to it.
Yes.
It's kind of scratches the itch, kind of. And I just have a ton of cake left. I didn't eat much of it. And some of it I was eating without frosting because I was frosting per order. I would cut a square and just frost that square. I didn't frost the whole cake.
Well, wait, what was it? Betty Crocker or Duncan Hines?
I think it was a combo. I think
Pillsbury.
I think I got both. I think one of them is Duncan Hines and one of them is Betty Crocker.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean.
And then a rogue can of strawberry frosting.
Oh, strawberry. That's unconventional.
No.
So now we'll just talk about, Reynolds Wrap, their product lineup that has developed over the years. You mentioned they have their standard strength. They have their heavy duty, their extra heavy duty, non-stick. Now they have, I said, oven bags, parchment paper, food storage wraps, the cling wrap, cooking tools, pre-cut foil sheets, slow cooker liners, air fryer liners. They're having fun. They're getting it. They're adapting. They're getting into every little corner of the easy cleanup kitchen market.
I feel like I never see cupcakes with the aluminum cup anymore.
Yeah, they're pretty rare.
And those were kind of special.
Yeah, add a little pizzazz.
Yeah.
Well, maybe for your next box of mix, making little cupcakes.
I have to get them in an estate sale.
Yeah. So then by 1991, we're jumping forward in time, but I mean, fill in the gaps of foil. People are using foil. Reynolds Metals has now employed 30,000 workers at more than 100 operations in 20 countries, including 64 plants in the United States. 64 plants in the United States. That feels like a lot, right?
That's more than one in some states.
I know. Doesn't that feel kind of like, are you always just like driving by like a aluminum plant? It feels so insane.
I only live a mile from you, and I pass 2 aluminum plants on the way
on your way over here.
Yeah. I am always, like anyone that has become a major brand, I just don't understand the logistics of how it's in every store in the world.
No, good
From
for you.
every little corner to like the big place, like it's everywhere. Of course you need a bunch of plants.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Hey, nothing but respect. This is a respectful show. Jon just tapped his chest like a basketball player who just won
what do you do with the hand?
a championship.
Respect.
And they had a total production capacity of more than 1 million tons of aluminum products. The company was acquired, of course, by Alcoa on May 3rd, 2000 to become the largest aluminum company in the United States. So, foil's everywhere. We love foil. What more could you say?
I don't think there's much more that you can say, but I'm hoping there's some fun facts. One that I want to know.
Yes?
Who invented wrapping leftovers up like animals?
I do not have that.
I was Googling it while you were talking, but still listening because I wanted to have that fact. No.
Yeah, I don't have that answer, but I can tell you why foil has a shiny side and a dull side.
Okay.
So the force required to feed 5 millimeters thin of aluminum through the rollers would cause it to tear. So therefore the sheet is doubled. This results in one side becoming shiny. The shiny side is in contact with the roller that are polished steel, and the matte side is in contact with the other sheet of foil.
Oh.
Therefore, the only reason one side is shiny is because of the contact with the rollers. It has no benefit to like one side is non-stick or which side you should use, which people think that is the case. But
100% thought that was the case.
But the shiny side is 88% more reflective. So if you need like to insulate, you might want to use that.
This is the only time in on-brand history that I would find it fascinating that if you had a fact that said they produce so much aluminum foil in a year, it could wrap the earth how many times?
Wrap the earth like completely, like as a ball?
Yes. That I would find interesting.
That would be tough to calculate. I think we would need like the world's greatest minds to calculate that.
I mean, I feel like we know the math. We could probably sort
Surface
it out.
area of the globe.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with the phrase tinfoil hat?
Yeah, that's for the people that are worried about aliens. If you wear a tinfoil hat, then they can't penetrate your mind.
They can't penetrate your mind, exactly. So the scientific reasoning behind the foil helmet, if there is one, is that it acts as a Faraday cage, which is an enclosure made up of a conducting material that shields its interior from exterior electrostatic charges and radiation. And most of us, we know Faraday cage examples. There's like elevators, the scan rooms that MRI machines are in, even microwaves are all type of Faraday cages. And researchers at MIT used a network analyzer. They tested the impact of foil helmets to see if it does any blocking of radio frequency signals. The results of their study is that it actually increases and amplifies radio frequencies, potentially making it easier for the government to penetrate your thoughts, which is very ironic and fun.
I love that. I've never heard, I gotta say, I had never heard of a Faraday cage.
A Faraday cage. So yeah, a microwave is a form of a Faraday cage. And if you wear a tinfoil hat, it's actually, it's the opposite effect. Here are some surprising uses of aluminum foil. Some you may know of, some you may not.
Okay.
If you need to scrub a kitchen pot, maybe you don't have a scouring pad or steel wool, roll up a ball of aluminum foil.
I don't like that.
You don't like that?
I don't like that.
What don't you like about that?
I feel like that would give me like chills.
Why?
That scratchy.
What if you used it to clean your grill?
No. Yeah, grill I could do.
Okay.
Wait, grill like the cooking grill or
no, like
grill
in your
of my
mouth.
teeth? Not my teeth grill.
You may know this. I don't know how many people have pure silverware anymore, but if you use a piece of aluminum foil in hot water with baking soda, it will create a catalyst to remove the tarnish through a chemical reaction of your silver. Do you have a silver collection in your storage unit?
Not in my unit. I have a couple of...
Where?
I mean, I have a couple pieces. I think my mom gave us all like a silver spoon ring when we were young.
Sure. Well, stick it in a solution of hot water and baking soda and watch those puppies shimmer and shine.
I feel like I would just buy jewelry cleaner. I have more. I mean, I'm not rich, but I have enough money. I don't need just a swatch of aluminum foil to clean my jewels.
Wow. Okay. Somebody's getting excited for the Patreon, Mr.
So
Moneybags.
I just give someone rich a tube of aluminum foil, and I'm like, your jewelry will thank me
Yes,
later.
exactly.
What else?
I thought this was fun. If you need to move a heavy piece of furniture, say on carpet, place a small piece of aluminum foil under each leg, dull side down. The dull side is more slippery than the shiny side, apparently. And you will be able to move the furniture with ease over the carpet.
I mean, they have those little discs.
What if you're in a pinch?
I have to move so fast that
Yes.
I've only got time to run to the kitchen.
Yeah, your husband is coming home. He's going to kill you if the furniture is not in its right spot.
Amazon has next day delivery, sometimes same day.
You were in such a hurry to get a piece of cake that you had to bake one yourself.
I mean, no, I was trying to say, I was like, it's like 9 pieces of cake.
Protect your key fob. Did you know that thieves can break into your car from your little beep boop?
No.
They can. And you can block the signal with a little piece of aluminum foil to keep your car safe.
My car doesn't even beep boop.
It doesn't beep boop? You don't beep boop?
No.
How do you lock it as you walk away?
I think it has a little honk.
Little honk, little cute
Does
Volkswagen
it protect
honk.
me from honks?
It will not. If you're painting and maybe you're taking a little lunch break mid-paint session, wrap up your roller with aluminum foil. John's like, can't you just buy a paint protector caddy?
No, I mean, they did those cheap little rollers. They come in like a bag of 12.
Okay, wow. Well, this is if you're not Mr. Moneybags Glover.
I will say, anytime I've done a painting project, I am very bad about leaving rollers and brushes to dry and really regretting it. So I will try this next time.
Give it a shot. And here's my last tip. This one I'm a little more skeptical of. Try it and let me know.
You can use it as an ice cream cone. Just don't eat it.
You sure could. Keep the cat off the couch.
Oh, I've seen this.
Have you?
It works.
So cats do not like the feel of aluminum foil under their paws.
It's one of those things where the videos of it, we'll watch some later. Like a cat will jump on it and they will go 10 feet in the air. It's the craziest thing. It's the same thing if you put like a cucumber behind them.
They think it's a snake.
It's insane how much they jump from those things.
Their like primitive wiring is very, very deep.
Yeah.
Wait, so you just have foil covering your couch?
This is what I'm confused by. It says cover your couch and your cushions with aluminum foil, and this should deter your cat from relaxing on the couch.
I've only seen people put it like on the back of the couch or like maybe where the cat claws.
Okay.
Sometimes they'll claw like the front like leg area.
I'm imagining just like trying to sit back, relax, and watch Survivor, and I'm like crinkling around on a bunch of aluminum foil. My last tip, this is a practical one, boost your Wi-Fi signal. Stick a little bit of foil behind your router. That's all I got on foil.
Wow, man. You've taken us from the sinking of the Titanic to the
Even before that, from the Bronze Age.
From Bronze Age to Wi-Fi. This is the story of Reynolds Wrap. I will say, the most shocking thing I learned about this, and this has happened before on the pod, it happened with Guinness, and not on pod, it happened with Michelin tires. I did not know that the Reynolds in the tobacco company was related to the Reynolds Wrap.
Wow, you were familiar with the tobacco Reynolds.
Well, for sure. I smoked for most of my life.
It's his like picture on the pack.
And I did a documentary about smoking and vaping.
Okay, there you go.
But I knew before that. RJ Reynolds and Marlboro were like two of the biggest tobacco companies.
Yeah, and Michelin tires is the same as Michelin star for restaurants.
Which is insane.
I'm sure we'll talk about
see
this
the
at some
Michelin
point.
restaurant thing, and it's like the tire guy, like the big fat, like, it looks like the Jet Puff guy from Ghostbusters.
Yeah, he's like, I ate here, you like it too.
5 stars. Expensive. It's like,
Wow, this guy who eats tires really has expensive taste.
And escargot. Okay.
So that's it for Reynolds Wrap. So John, after everything you've learned about Reynolds Wrap, I feel like I know the answer. You've kind of teased it. Is Reynolds Wrap on brand for you?
I mean, a hard yes. It's a name brand. It fits in perfectly into our portfolio. It was a great choice. I learned something about it. I already know some stuff about it. Super fun. Yeah, it is definitely on brand for me. And I think I know the answer for you, but I'll kick it back to you. Is Reynolds Wrap on brand for you?
Well, as you know, I'm a busy mom who's trying to get dinner on the table and a snap, and I don't want to spend a while in the kitchen with cleanup. So I find Reynolds Wrap to be the only foil that can really hold up to the challenge. It doesn't tear easily. I like the variety of thickness. I find that you get what you pay for with name brands sometimes, and Reynolds Wrap is the one. I'm not going a generic for Reynolds Wrap.
Some of those generics, I can't even get it started. Like it rips it's so thin.
Yes.
But I got to say, there's something so luxurious when you're around heavy duty Reynolds Wrap. It's so thick. It's almost like, am I allowed to use this? I feel like this is like for Martha. Like this isn't for common man me.
Yes, it's quite decadent.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever bought the like heavy duty restaurant one, but
imagine what you could do. It would be possible.
Now that I'm remembering, several years ago, post-Christmas, I did come across at Target a clearance section of their Christmas Reynolds Wrap, which is the same Reynolds Wrap. It just has Santa on the box and really stocked up on those. So that was quite a day. Too bad I didn't have a pod at the time to talk about.
That would have been a really fun banter.
Well, beautiful ep. I loved it. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Thank you,
everyone,
listeners.
if you've pulled over to listen to the show, feel free to continue on your journey.
Head straight into McDonald's for a chicken Big Mac for the full experience.
Oh, yeah. If anyone has one, I have already talked to several people. There's a couple of boys that listen to the show. They're going to be very excited that I have finally eaten this. They're like, you got to try it, bro. So I finally have. So before I do our shout outs for the Insta Egg winners this week, I just want to say that I have thoroughly embraced our new segment, Jon's Ice Capades, because I think it's super fun. So I wanted to share with you some of my ice capades of this week. Wednesday, I got ice at Carl's Jr. on San Fernando Road. It was my first time getting ice there. I've been wanting to stop in and get ice. I didn't purchase anything. Not my favorite place. It was good ice, but it's in view of the cashiers. I don't love that.
We dock some points for that.
Yeah, so then I kind of have to go through
this should be like a competition for like what's the best place with ice.
Yeah, not only who has the best ice, but the easiest, most comfortable way to get it.
And that could incorporate like parking, out of view of cashiers. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I may have to start like a rating system.
Get the spreadsheet
so
ready.
I did get it at Carl's Jr. Not my favorite place, but I did it. Thursday, another newbie, Chipotle in Glendale. I had not done it there before. Plain sight of everybody. So like these ones that are in plain sight of everybody, I do this whole thing. With Chipotle, I go in, I like look at the menu, I'm like squinting, like what am I gonna get? And then I mill about, and then I fill my things up with, I pretend I'm thinking for another minute or look at my phone, and then I leave.
You strut out of there like well, you're walking a catwalk.
And I'm loud. I'm like chink, 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 because I have like four
metal thermoses. 4.
So that was Chipotle. Friday, I did Taco Bell. That's okay. Now, Taco Bell usually is hidden. Great. Not the best ice. They've changed their ice where it's more flaky, so it doesn't last as long.
Sure.
And I did make a purchase. I got a Mexi Melt because they've got their decades promotion going on, and they brought back 5 items from the past.
Fun.
I love a Mexi Melt. It's like one of the easiest things to make, and they charge $3 for it. It's literally just a little meat, cheese, and a tortilla. It pisses me off, but for some reason, it tastes better, and I love it.
What should it cost?
Like 79 cents. Like it should be under $1.
You know what? For how much free ice you're getting, I think it's okay for you to throw $3 in the pot.
Saturday, a different Taco Bell. This one in Eagle Rock. Same shitty ice, but half out of you didn't buy anything left. And this was yesterday.
You hear that?
This is ice from that Taco Bell. It has lasted that long.
Wow.
And so I say it's shitty ice, but it is holding up. So
proof is in the crunch crunch.
And this has gone all day yesterday and to a party last night.
Oh.
And downtown today and now here.
Look at you. This ice gets around more than I do, honey.
I don't know about that. So that's this week's Ice Capades. Now I want to give some shout outs to our Insta Egg winners. This week's Insta Egg was on Rubik's Cube. I had originally made it a little bit easier. I just had a picture of RuPaul, some Bic sliders, and Ice Cube. I thought that was too hard. So then I added a math equation. So it was RuPaul minus Paul Rudd plus Bic sliders plus Ice Cube minus ice. That led you to Rubik's Cube. More people guessed it right than we've ever had before. Our Wheel of Freaks is insane. And I'm giving shout outs to the following 5 people. Sam. And this one I've been dreading getting, not because I don't want you to be Freak of the Week. I don't know how to pronounce your name. I will do the best I can. Ashley Obstarski. I hope that's right. Nate Lyles. Chris Ingelis. And Jesse Leonhardt. I'm sorry if I butchered your names. You're still Freaks of the Week. We still love you deeply. Thank you for guessing it right. If you don't know, there's an Insta egg every Wednesday on our Insta story. It's a puzzle. Guess it. You might be Freak of the Week.
While we're giving shout outs, I want to give some shout outs to some freaks who left us lovely 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts. DJ Daniel, Shake6, Jamie Frazier, and Ashley. How did you say her last name?
Obstarsky.
Obstarsky, you're getting a double shout out.
This is our first double freak?
Because you left us a lovely 5-star review. And if you haven't left us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, please do. We read all of them. We screenshot them. We text them to each other. It just makes our day. Again, this podcast is a hobby. So we live off of your morale and we really appreciate it. So please do that. And if you don't follow our Instagram, at On Brand the Pod, TikTok at On Brand the Podcast, where you can find Jon's Insta Eggs and play every week on Wednesdays. And with that, we will be back next week with an all-new episode.
And I actually want to do one more quick shout out. I had a fun conversation with one of our freaks this week, Jon M. He told me that one of his New Year's resolutions this year was to learn how to do the Rubik's Cube. He not only taught himself how to do the Rubik's Cube, now every single day he wakes up, solves the Rubik's Cube before he starts the day, and every night he mixes it up so it'll be ready for him to solve the next day.
That is so cute.
I thought that was so cool. His new resolution for next year is to learn how to juggle. So it was very on brand for him. He was very excited that we were doing an episode about the Rubik's Cube. So you're an honorary Freak of the Week, Jon. And that's it. That's our show. Remember, we may go off topic, obviously, but we will always be on brand.
Bye.
Goodbye.
If you're looking to streamline your audio advertising buys and maximize your revenue, look no further than Triton Digital's programmatic audio advertising exchange, A2X. The private exchange consists of only licensed broadcasters and top-tier internet radio publishers, assuring the quality inventory and brand safety you can trust. Visit www.tritondigital.com to learn more.